Oh, nice, nice. So, hello everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming and listening to my talk. I hope it's gonna be of use for you. It's gonna help you to get your first job. And like a little bit of a disclaimer, this is like my first talk ever, and this is first time for me to speak in English, so and live. So I hope there aren't going to be some funny or awkward moments. So let's go through some main points of this presentation. First of all, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, my education, my road to industry, how I got my first job, how I started learning and preparing. And I will tell you some things about my first experience in the industry, how it looked like the first day, the first months on the job, how exciting it was. And finally, I will give you some advice and some tips for getting your first job, for going into the industry and taking your first job and taking your first steps in your career. And basically, the point of this presentation is for me to show you how I got from that cute little teddy bear in on the top to the game ready, production ready 3D models on the right. So if you have any questions, let's leave them for the end. Write them on the chat. And even if we are out of time, you can still write them on the chat or write me privately, contact me on email, on LinkedIn, Facebook. It doesn't really matter. I will be eager to answer your questions as best as I can. So let's start. So my name is Aleksandar. I'm a media 3D artist in Art Bully Productions, and I come from a small country in the Eastern Europe called Serbia. So I grew up in Zrenjanin, which is a city in the north of Serbia. I graduated in Zrenjaninska Gimnazija High School. Then I moved to Faculty of Technical Sciences to Novi Sad, and that is where I spent 4 years of my college. And after that, after my graduation, I decided to apply for Art Bully Productions, and luckily I managed to get myself my first job. And I'm going to get a little bit more into the details a little bit later. So first of all, I was of course a junior, and in the meantime, like 2 months ago, I was promoted to media 3D artist. Mostly, I have been doing props for and assets for AAA video games, for environments, and this is the main focus of my presentation. But most of this can be applied to character art or sculpting or something similar to that. So far, I have worked on games like Fortnite and Call of Duty Warzone. Those were the biggest projects I have worked on so far, which really helped me to develop my skills and to learn a lot. And some other games that Art Bully Productions has worked on so far are Call of Duty Vanguard, Godfall, Amnesia, Soma, Dying Lights, Rage, Prey, and Stray, which came out like recently. And for the beginning, I'm going to tell you like how I started my education. I'm going to show you some of my first projects. For example, this is my final project for high school. So this is when I really got into 3D. I finished a basic course on 3ds Max and decided to put all of my passion and all of my small knowledge into this project, and it really paid out, and it actually made me win some kind of final project prize on a competition. So first of all, my advice for you is to, if you're doing some kind of a big project for your high school, for your college, or for your course, you should really try and put your passion and your time and your effort in it, because it will definitely pay off. But I will talk a little bit more about that when I come to my final college project. And after that, when I graduated high school, I really got interested in 3D art. I knew that I wanted to work in gaming, and I started to to try and find a faculty or college which will give me that knowledge, which will prepare me for my first job. And I found out about Faculty of Technical Sciences, the program called Computer Graphics and Animation. So in the first year, we were getting to know the basics of this stuff, or 3D art, computer graphics, animation. And this is where we started to learn a lot about theory. For example, drawing, anatomy, modeling theory, some programming, how graphics on a computer works. And this is where we started to learn about basics of modeling. So on the top left corner, you can see one of my first works. Apart from that teddy bear, you can see the Christmas tree, the gun, the Kirov airship. So this is like basic modeling, no rendering, no textures, and just getting into these things. And later, during other years, like second, third, and fourth year, we managed to like scratch a little bit and dig into some sculpting, some character modeling, some character rigging and animation. And even though in the bottom left corner you can see an asset which I made with photogrammetry. So this is like the basic things. We didn't actually master anything of this. We just got to have the basics of these topics. And the crucial part of my education was actually doing additional learning, additional watching and practicing with the tutorials, with the courses. And the crucial thing, and my advice for you, is to, if you're a part of a college or you're a part of a high school or some kind of a course you're currently attending, try to spend some more additional time, learning, practicing on some your portfolio pieces. It can be, for example, you can spend like 1 hour a day additionally to work on it, and I promise you that it will really make you stand out from other 3D artists who don't do that, who rely on the faculty. I had a talk with my friend after my first year who really told me that I should not rely on the faculty and should rely on some additional work. And that is when I started to watch these tutorials, these websites. So try checking them out, and I'm going to provide you after my talk with a list of some useful resources and some links. So I hope these are going to be of a big use for you. So you can find a lot of tutorials on modeling, on courses on like UV, baking, sculpting, anything you're interested in. And in the end, like at the end of the college, I decided to combine my theoretical knowledge and my basic knowledge from the faculty and some of my additional skills and knowledge that I got from watching tutorials, and decided to put all of my effort, all of my passion, and all of my knowledge into making this final college project. So I had 6 months to do this, and I tried my best to organize myself, to do a lot of research before starting, to plan everything. And I'm really proud of this project because it is really big. It's not really optimized. So it has a lot of flaws, but at that time I did my best to make it the best as I could. So again, my tip and my advice for you is to, if you have a final project for your college, like this is the piece, this is your artwork, which will probably get you a job. So, for example, when I had an interview with Art Bully Productions employers, they asked me a lot about this project, how I did the research, how I did the optimizing, how I did the modeling, how I did the textures. They were really interested in this final work. So this is the thing where you should put your attention, your effort, and your passion. So making these kind of projects will definitely get you a job. And now, after getting into the studio, there is my first experience in the industry. First time going to the studio, seeing all those workspaces, kitchen, seats, people. It is really it was some kind frightening for me, maybe a little bit intimidating, but in the end, I really got along with those people. In a short time, I got a lot of friends. They were really welcoming. They were really making me feel like a part of a team in a really short time. So the big thing when you start going to the studio is that all of the people, luckily in this industry, like a lot of people are really friendly, they're really welcoming, and they're really eager to share their knowledge with you and to give you feedback. So a really nice thing when you start going to your first job. And one really important thing I need to emphasize is having my own mentor and team leader for the first time. During making of my final college project, I had a professor who was a mentor to me, and she was really helpful. But this type of mentor on your everyday job, on your full-time job, is a lot different things. So you're in constant communication with him, and every time you finish some phase of your model, you send it to him for him to check it out. And usually he will send you that model back with some feedback, especially in the beginning. But that feedback is something that is crucial for your improvement and for your career, because you will have somebody who is really experienced, who is really into this job, who really has an eye for details. And getting some feedback from those kind of people will definitely make a lot of benefits for you in the beginning. So that's about receiving constructive feedback. And of course, a really good thing is learning and understanding the workflow for each client. So I thought that there is only one way to make your asset, like high poly, low poly, bake workflow. But on my job, I really got into a lot of other different workflows. Every client has its own way of making their asset, their environment. So it's really exciting because you will learn how to think. You will learn how to solve problems which you would struggle with if you didn't have this kind of experience. And yeah, all the practicing, all the learning and listening to the feedback made this possible. So for me, like again, this cute little teddy bear on the left, one of my first models, made me improve myself, and listening to feedback, doing additional research, watching tutorials and courses made me go to this kind of production ready AAA assets, which you can see on the right. So all of these were from my Art Bully internship. I had an internship and training of 3 months where I worked with my mentor one-on-one, who prepared me for the production. And also, again, one advice for you is, if you can find a studio which can provide you with some kind of a training in the beginning, some kind of an internship, go for it, because 3 months is a great time for you to not have that pressure from the clients, but just enough time and just enough relaxed for you to get ready for the production. So to conclude this part, I would like to tell you some of the benefits. One of the main benefits of working in the studio is, like, first of all, building friendships. So most of the people, as I said, in the industry are really friendly. And when you start your first job, if you're a little bit shy, if you're a little bit insecure about yourself, maybe you have some imposter syndrome, those people will really do their best to make you feel welcome and make you feel like you're a part of a team really fast. For example, in my case, a lot of people, like in the first day, came to my desk, introduced themselves, and it was a really nice way to start off a career and your first job. So the other thing is learning and developing skills faster. So definitely, because you have your mentor, you have your art lead, you have other colleagues, and all of those people help you to, and also you have the client. And all of them really help you to acquire some knowledge, to practice your skills really, really fast. So, and experience in working for different clients and projects is really important, especially if you work in an outsourcing studio, because most of the most of the AAA studios work on projects, one project for like a long time, and this is the time where you work only one art style, one workflow. But if you work for outsourcing studio, you will have the opportunity to work on a lot of different projects. So you will learn a lot. You will get like some broader knowledge on how to solve different problems, make different assets, and that is one of the best things if you work for an outsourcing studio. And the last and not least, coffee machine, which is always welcome in the studio. And the final thing, and maybe the most important for you guys, is like some of my advice and tips for getting your first job. So if something is left out, you can, and you're interested in it, you can ask it later in the chat. So when it comes to education and learning, crucial thing and the first thing, which I already mentioned, is to try and do the learning and practicing like every day. If you have a job, if you have some really big obligations, like college maybe, try to spend like 1 hour a day in the morning or in the evening just to try and work on your portfolio piece, or try to watch some tutorial or video on YouTube. It really means a lot. Even though if it's 1 hour and it seems like it's a small amount of time, it will make a difference in the end. If you have a lot of more free time, if you're not in a college, if you do not have a full-time job, try doing that for a longer period in the day. Try working for like 4 to 8 hours a day, like you have a full-time job, and it will make a lot of difference, and it will improve you really, really fast. The second thing is finding good sources of video tutorials. And now you can go to YouTube. I will provide you, as I said, with a list of really useful links. So you can find some YouTube channels. You can go to Substance Academy if you're interested in texturing, and those are like the good sources for you, where you can watch the videos. Usually those videos are really, really short, so you don't have to spend like 2 hours or 3 hours watching those videos. So that's a great thing. The third thing is follow sites every day. Sites like 80 level or Polycount. These are mainly for the inspiration. You will find a lot of different artworks and a lot of different people who share their workflow, share their process, or share their problems which they encountered and how they solved them, and that can really help you in making your own artwork and portfolio pieces. And fourth thing, this is not crucial, but if you have some spare money, try finding a good college or an online course on 3D art for video games. Think Tank Training Center from Vancouver, Canada, CG Master Academy, or Gnomon School, they're all really, really great and useful for providing you the knowledge and skills and your portfolio piece, which will definitely make you ready for your first job. So if you have some additional money, if you decide to spend them on these schools, you will definitely not waste that money. So do some research on these schools. If you are interested, contact them and try to find a course which interests you the most. The next thing is practice different workflows. So my advice is to get to know like the basic workflow. Block out, low poly, high poly, UVs, baking, texturing. This is like the basic workflow. Try to master it, and when you do that, you won't need like a long time to master it. Try experimenting with other different workflows. For example, try mid-poly modeling, which is used for environment art, or try finding something else. Try photogrammetry, which is a little bit different than the basic workflow. And you can find those workflows online, and you will definitely encounter them on your first job. Uh, don't be afraid to ask for feedback. This goes along with the seventh thing, like post your process on social media. So don't be like me. I was afraid. I was shy to post my work and my process online. Um, there are groups on Facebook. There are Discord channels. There are Discord servers. Polycount.com is also used for sharing your work and asking for feedback. So those are great things where you can share your asset from the beginning of its making. And a lot of people are eager actually to give you their honest feedback. And if you can find your own mentor, these people will definitely help you to make your piece a lot better. So the next thing is try finding an area of expertise and focus on developing those skills. So this is also not crucial, but if you already know that you're interested in character art or you're interested in environment art, try and find some useful tutorials and some useful resources for that aspect of 3D art. So focus on mastering one thing instead of being a generalist. Being a generalist is a nice thing, it's a good thing, but in my opinion, employers do like to see somebody who is actually mastering one aspect of the production. And the last thing, but also really important, is, and also a little bit fun, when you play games, when you have the time to play them and you enjoy them, try to walk around, for example, walk around the map, around the level, and analyze. Try to think how those people made a certain asset, how they made a certain environment, a certain character. Do a little bit of thinking yourself, and if you cannot find the answer, you cannot think of the answer, try to find some GDC talk or some YouTube interview with the developers where they share the process of making it. It will also make a lot of difference in your understanding and your knowledge. And now we come to social media networking, a really important aspect of your growth and your career. So my first advice for you is to try and find some local gaming or CG events. For example, in Serbia, we have 2 or 3 main events during the year. I believe in the West or in the East, there are a lot more different events where you it's not the main thing to go for the knowledge, but the main thing is to go to meet some people, to meet the people who share the same interests and same passion with you. It really can benefit you because maybe someday those people can help you find a job. Those people can maybe you can find your mentor there who will be eager to help you on your way. So um, if you're shy, if you have some kind of insecurities, try to find some friend of yours to go with you. And trust me, going there on those kind of events, again, you will meet a lot of nice people who are like the top of the industry, but they're still down to the earth and they want to share their knowledge like eagerly. The next thing is to open your ArtStation and your LinkedIn account. So LinkedIn is usually a place where you can share your experience, your interests. You can share your ArtStation link there. And this is the place where employers will actually try to find you. So ArtStation and LinkedIn are the main things. So ArtStation is used for your portfolio. For example, if you have your own website, I've seen a lot of those lately. It's really great thing. It's really a nice thing, but it should not be the main part of your marketing, of your exposing to others. You should use ArtStation mainly, and your website should be like an additional option because employers are used to ArtStation, they're used to that user interface, and they will really see and go through your profile a lot easier and faster than going through your website because every website has a different design, and employers usually don't like that. So make your ArtStation profile and put your portfolio there. Also, you can use Instagram for sharing your work, use hashtags, share your process, and sometimes employers can actually contact you on Instagram also. Now, when we covered like education parts, we covered like social media and networking. So you already got your knowledge. You met some people. Now it is time for you to work on your portfolio. So the first thing, it really depends on the studio, but my advice for you is to put all of your personal projects that you have done in your portfolio. Like some of the studios, some of the AAA studios, they only want to see the best work. But in my experience, there are a lot of different studios that actually like to see the whole process. Like they want to see your first work, they want to see your latest work, and all the process in between, because that way they will see how you actually improved, how you learned, how fast actually did you improve, and it really gives them a lot of clue what type of a person and what type of an artist you are. So you can decide by yourself, but my advice is to try and put all of your personal projects in the portfolio. The next things that are really useful also is to try and include triangle count, vert count, try including wireframe and high poly renders, include a screenshot of your UVs and preview of texture channels, because all of these things, they're used for employers to see how well you're doing at optimization, because you want to work in a gaming studio, you are making assets and models for games. The optimization is much more important than looks, because everything that is like written here has a part in optimization. So you should definitely pay attention to these things and try to share them so the employers can see how well you're doing with that. If you're doing well with these things, getting your first job and being contacted by employer will be um, much more common thing for you. Try learning about lighting and rendering, and do some research on photography, because it's really useful to know how to light your models, how to present them, learn something about composition, also color theory, because it really can make a lot of difference when people have a first look on your portfolio. And the last one, which I already mentioned, is to try and use ArtStation for your main portfolio. And now when you have like the portfolio and you everything is like perfect, everything is done, you try to apply for a job and somebody gets back to you. Now you will most often you will get provided with a test and a documentation. And in documentation, everything is written from workflow to the time you have to do the test. And my advice is for you is to do not rush. Take your time and relax, because it's much better to spend some time, maybe 2 or 3 days, just checking your model. Maybe you can find something else, some little thing that you can add to make it a little bit better. It's much better, for example, if you have 10 days to do a test, it's much better to send it on the last day than to finish it in like maybe 3 days and send it then, because you maybe missed out on something. Also, really important thing is to use a good folder structure and a good naming for your files and objects, because when the employer downloads your files, opens your Blender or 3ds Max or Maya scene, it's really important for him to navigate easily. So do not have some kind of a chaotic names or chaotic folder structures, because employers usually prefer to see a better organized files. Pay attention to the documentation. People can usually make a mistake, they can read a documentation and never read it again. They start doing their test and they make a silly mistake. For example, Studio wants you to make an asset which is textured in roughness, metalness workflow, but you, for some reason, do it in specular glossiness. The asset looks the same, but you missed on that part and you actually don't get the job. So during your test, read your documentation again and again, just not to forget all of those different important things. And if you pass the test, most often you will have an interview. It can be intimidating. It can sound scary. You will be on the in the spotlight, and all of those people will listen to you. My interview lasted really really long, but you should have on your mind that those people have an understanding. They know what your position is. By this time, they usually can have a picture what type of a person you are. So if they call you for an interview, it's most likely that they have an interest in you. So try to relax. And also, really important thing is to try and be honest. Do not lie to them and do not pretend that you're somebody else. Maybe somebody gave you an advice to be more serious or more, I don't know. The best thing so far that I did and I did not regret so far is to just be yourself, just be honest, and employers will definitely love you for that. And the last thing, when you pass the test, you pass the interview, you got your job, and you are going to the office for the first time, just be ready to receive feedback. You will get it a lot. Do not try to act smart. Do not try to do not be angry. Do not be mad at that feedback. Most of the times, that feedback is what will make you a better artist from day to day. Try to be friendly, try to introduce yourself to other people. If again, if you're shy, if you're a little bit scared, other people will definitely come to you and they will start the conversation first. And I believe that you will definitely have a great time when you start to work. And also the last thing is to try and be organized, try to be responsible. Employers really, really love when their employees are organized. They do not have chaotic folder structures, chaotic naming, because usually if you get sick suddenly or you're out of work, some other colleague of yours will need to get those files from you and continue the work. So it's a lot better if you use some kind of an understandable naming convention and folder structure so they can navigate easily and have a lot better time. So this is the list. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying till the end. You can contact me anywhere you want. You can even send me your portfolios if you are willing to. I will take a look. I will respond to every question. Maybe not in the same day, but I will do my best to answer the best as I can. I will provide you with the list of useful links in the chat. And now we have some time for questions. Oh, thank you, Benji. Lauren, what made you want to go into games as a 3D artist? Well, I have been a gamer since I was a child. I used to play my PlayStation 1 and 2. And when I got into 3D art, when I got into making 3D models, when I got into animation, like I had a choice: either I will go to the film industry or go to the gaming industry. And for some reasons, games made me make the choice to go to in that path, especially because of the Unreal Engine, all of the possibilities, and all of the things that we can learn. Film industry is interesting for me, but gaming is like my passion, and I still try to spend some time every day or only for the weekends to play games, to analyze, and to learn about them. You're welcome, Adrian. Well, you should be critical of other games and films, because you being critical is something that will also improve your knowledge and your skills. So one day, if you actually decide to make your own game or film, you will have a lot more feeling and a lot of more taste for making it look good. Jordan asks, what is your software workflow? Is it Maya Substance Render? Um, I I work in 3ds Max. Then I do maybe some kind of sculpting if I needed to in ZBrush. I go back to Max. UVs, baking. Sorry. UVs, high poly modeling, low poly modeling, and blockouts I do in 3ds Max. Then I do the baking in Marmoset Toolback, and I do the texturing in Substance, and I go back to Marmoset for rendering. Uh, You're welcome, Hex R. Um, what are the most difficult part of the pipeline? What challenges we could find in a large-scale project? This is maybe it depends on a person, on an artist, but maybe the most difficult part can be um, maybe high poly, or if you're asked and you're needed to make a high poly in your subdiv, you need to model it with the support loops, and you need to make something organic, something complex. That can actually be really, really difficult. For example, it's a lot easier to make a high poly for something that is boxy. But if you need to make some kind of an organic hard surface spaceship or a gun, you're going to have a lot of trouble if you're a beginner. So maybe the high poly modeling, that phase is maybe the most difficult. And what challenges we could find? Also, the baking part can be like it can cause a great amount of pain, but it's not actually that hard for thinking, but just for realizing. And what challenges we could find in a large scale project? Well, because so far I have only been doing like 3D art. I'm doing like one asset at a time, or I do one big asset with my colleagues. They're not like big challenges. You're doing your asset, you're doing your part. That you're asked for. You have documentation, you have the rules and their workflows. So there may be no big challenges on a large scale project. For example, if you are a team leader, or if you are a mentor, or you are somebody who works in the production, then maybe you can have some bigger large scale project challenges, but I do not know them so far. So I do not know how to answer to this question. No problem. You're welcome. Come on, people. We have like 20 more minutes. Oh, thank you, Shajid. It really was a great journey indeed. And I wish that journey to all of you. And I believe that you're all going to have a beautiful journey when you start your career and when you start preparing and start learning. How do you come up with the designs? Do you always get handed concepts? Well, usually, yes. Also, always it depends on the studio, but usually, if you're a 3D artist, you don't need to do your own designs. You will usually either get provided with the drawn concept art, or you will be provided with some photos from Google. So sometimes, for legal reasons, you need to change something in the model, but usually the client and the studio will guide you how to make those changes. Yes, people can contact me like anytime. You have my Discord here. You have some of my other links in the text documents that I sent you, like on the top of this chat. And yes, you can contact me anywhere. You can ask anything, and of course, you can send your portfolio for a review, and I will do my best to answer as quickly as possible. I will get to everybody, so everybody will get an answer, but it's just a question of time. Yes, I believe we have the time. So if somebody wants to send a portfolio, uh, do it, and we will have a look. Okay, Lauren, you can send it like later. Okay. Okay, so we have Jules de Cosas. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Um, wow, actually, this looks great. Let me see, like about. Okay, so there are a lot of works. I believe that there are a lot of works, like maybe all the works are posted here, which is a nice thing. So if employer wants to see the process and the growth of an artist, um, it can be seen. So this is like the great thing. Let's try and see some of the latest work. Maybe those are the best and most relevant. So let's see. Um, on the first look, this looks amazing. So the render is amazing. The thumbnail is amazing, and yeah, overall feeling this looks actually really, really great. If I can see, okay, should be pretty happy with the result. Sculpt a ZBrush. Yeah, yeah. If you're doing a gun for a portfolio, you can either try to make it optimized for the games, or you can decide to have a model which will have a high-res textures, a lot of triangles, just to show the texturing skills and just to show the rendering things. But try to combine both. Try to have some pieces which are game optimized, and try to have some pieces that are more like render and final look oriented. That way you can show that you know both the optimization and both the artistic part of this job. So actually this looks great. The roughness and glossy variations, like when you make some models which are mostly the same color, try to add some roughness or glossiness variation. It will make a lot of difference in the final look. For example, if you see this kind of dirt, I don't know if my screen is a little bit blurry because I share it, but those variations and some variations in like different pieces. For example, you can see that these pieces are a little bit like they're almost the same color, like it's a little bit of a different brightness or hue, but also the roughness is different. So you can distinct different parts of this gun, and this is what makes it really, really beautiful. So this gun, okay, we can see like all the wireframe. This is what I have been talking about. You should include this kind of screenshots in your portfolio. This looks great. Maybe this part, this handle can be optimized. Actually, it can be optimized a lot more, but that's like that's in this case, this is not like a big mistake, but it can definitely be optimized. Yes, she also has the gun like high poly, and yeah, this is beautiful. This is also what you need in your portfolio, like high poly render. And yeah, texture channels, texture, different textures. It's really, really a nice thing. So this is a good example of how your artwork should be posted and how should it looks. How should it look? And also the description is great. So the latest work, amazing. This kind of asset can get this artist a job. We have some more things, like this is a more simple one, but like also on the first look, it's really important how the asset looks on the first sight. It looks great. It has a lot of different variations in roughness, in color. It's actually a lot damaged, and yeah, overall this is a great thing. Again, this part can be optimized a little bit. It can be reduced to a fewer segments, but overall it's great. This thing is also look beautiful. I love the leakage. Like the leakage is an awesome detail. Like really, really great. The emissive parts. Yeah. So yeah, you get more than Bishop overview too. Yeah. Akitan, you can tell your friend that this portfolio looks awesome. Portfolio review 2. Okay, let's see. Wow, also looks nice. I love the thumbnails. The thumbnails are really, really good. So good composition, good colors, beautiful. So let's see, maybe this looks great. Let's see this one and this one. Yeah, good presentation. This is a really cool detail where you put your name, you put the name of the asset. Really, really nice. Actually, if you go to our Bully Productions art station or website, this is how we make our renders. So we put few different renders in one picture, so we can make it a little bit more busy in and more full. So yeah, you have the Sketchfab. Also great thing, if you can put Marmoset Viewer or Sketchfab on your ArtStation, do it. It also makes your employer available to go through your assets, to look at the wireframe, to look at different channels, and yeah, nice thing. Yeah, I love this gun. It looks great. Maybe you can add a wireframe render, but all of that is included in this, so you actually don't have to. Oh, this is like a miniature. I love the depth of field on this render, so a really nice touch. It makes it a lot more photorealistic. Um, yeah, nice. Actually, you did the texturing really well, because when I look at this model, I can see that this is a miniature, that this is a small model, that this is a toy. So really, really great job on this texturing on this model. Yeah, some really nice shots. The camera is a little bit curved, so really, really nice job. Um, it's really a nice scene to look at, actually. The nice detail. It actually looks like a sticker. Wow, nice, nice. Maybe this piece can have a little bit of more of roughness, variation, some damages, maybe chipped plastic or something like that. But for example, this kind of sticker being torn off, really nice touch. Like, looks really great. Yes, you have some wireframe. Maybe pay attention to this wireframe. You can maybe, if you use Maya, Blender, or Max, in Max we have some relax tool for these loops. So just make these loops a little bit um, more clean, in sense that, like, to be straight, to have a nice flow. For example, on the glass it can be seen like the best. Do some maybe better flow for this topology. Yeah, different channels. Really nice, really nice. Yes, you also have a UV shown. When I look at the UVs, maybe you could get a little bit more space. It depends on what texture resolution you are using, and it depends what padding you are using. So it's good, but I think it can be packed a little bit better, because you have a lot of empty space here, and in the production, those kind of spaces usually do not wanted. So overall, great job on this project, and really, it's really, really nice. So when I look at this model, this glass material. Okay, this for some kind of an application, some kind of software. For some reason, these cars looked a little bit stylized to me. It's cute. It's nice. It's low poly. If it's made to be low poly, then and a little bit blocky, then it's perfectly fine. So, um, Lazarus, congrats. Really nice one. I believe that you can try and apply for some kind of a job. Your portfolio is great. Let's see, Shajid. Oh, Les, you should definitely keep the gun. It looks good. It looks cool. Um, oh, I think we have like a character artist here. Also a portfolio full of stuff. Yeah, some studios really want to see like this, like maybe a beginning of your education, beginning of your journey, and they're really interested in how you grow like as an artist. So keep those. A lot of different projects, really great. They can see that you really enjoy doing this. They can see that you're doing your best, that you're trying to learn, to develop, and yeah, no problem, Les. It was a pleasure. Um, yeah, let's see the latest work. Oh, you have also tried yourself out in the sci-fi environment art. Um, Tell me, please, if this is like made like in a modular environment, or did you make it like in one piece? Because if you made it modular, this is like a great thing, like a great practice for you. Also, Shajid, when you make these renders, try to make them like full HD, 16:9 aspect ratio usually, and try to make them a little bit higher res. I'm not a professional in character art, but otherwise this model looks cool. Maybe the topology could be done better, because if you are making this for the animation and for rigging, you should pay attention to the loops that should go like around the arm, around the elbow, around the pelvis, the tail, the shoulders, and the mouth. As far as I can see, the mouth have and eyes have a great loops, but otherwise pay attention to the loops on the other places. Oh, it was quick concept model. Okay. We have a troll, monster, or ogre. Yeah, also try to make like a high res render. Try to make the background maybe a little bit more interesting. Um, Otherwise, I love the textures. I love how stylized it is. Like it looks good. And let's see the lesson. Oh, this looks pretty much cute. This one is great. It reminds me of some of my professors' work. Um, yeah, really cute. For example, making like this square render here actually fits this artwork. Let me just see. Oh, it is a good resolution. So this one is great. Like I love this one. Like good work. Keep growing, keep learning, Shajid, and you will find yourself in your on your first job really really fast. I don't think we have more time. So Hannah, I will have a look on your portfolio and I will write you the my opinion in this chat. So if you're okay with that, yeah, no problem. So guys, thank you for having me. It was a great pleasure. It was a great honor. I hope you got out from this presentation and this talk the most. I wish you all a great journey, and I believe in you. So just start learning, continue learning. You're going to learn and develop your whole life, and this is the most beautiful part of this job. So, guys, have a nice day. You're welcome, and I will see you in some other talk. So, guys, bye bye.